Hey everyone, Trevor here. I thought it would be helpful this week for a lot of folks out there looking to purchase a home right now to do a series on a step-by-step guide about how to find a fixer-upper. As a realtor, my job is to safely guide my clients through the process of purchasing a home. But I always take my job a step further because I want to make sure they're thinking about the investment they're making and whether it's a wise decision or a potential money pit. In the next several weeks, I'll be breaking down step by step how to find a great potential fixer-upper, highlighting some things to look out for, and also defining a budget and figuring out the financing of how you can fix up the house. Now, quick caveat, this is not going to be a series for the advanced house flipper. This is going to be more suited to those who've never fixed up a home before, or those who've only bought homes that didn't need any updates. We'll work through this whole process as if you are my client looking for a fixer-upper. So let's jump in and start with step one. Now, if you've never done this before, you might think step one is just to jump in and start looking at homes. I know you want to go all Chip Gaines on this thing and start busting through walls and kicking in doors. But the best thing to do first is to have a firm grasp on what you can afford and how you're going to pull it off. So step one is to develop a budget and determine your financing. The quickest way to define your budget is to talk to a reputable lender in your area. They can give you the best idea on what you can afford, even down to a monthly number. In this video, I'm not going to discuss all the nitty-gritty about different loan options and about the cash you need to purchase. But if you're interested in learning more about that, I've got another video I'll link down in the description for you. Now, once you have all this worked out with the lender, that's still only half of the equation. Then you have to think about how you're going to pay for these updates. Getting cash for updates is easy for some. You just withhold some of your down payment and plan to put it towards those updates after you close on the home. For others, this amount of cash may not be possible to push out after paying closing costs, moving expenses, and a down payment. So we may have to get a little creative here. One option is to request seller concession in order to help with your costs. Let's say hypothetically you had $6,000 of loan costs. You can request that the seller pays all of that for you. That way when you get to closing, you have $6,000 less due. This might work to offset some smaller updates, but what about the bigger projects of $20,000 to $30,000? You can certainly put some of this on credit, but a cheaper way to get a hold of cash is to think strategically about your equity. A lot of time fixer-uppers aren't selling for the full market value of the home. There's an opportunity here for you to come in under asking and potentially over appraise. With an appraisal over what you paid for the house in hand, you can take that to the bank and you can get a line of equity or apply for a home equity loan. These are basically like having a credit card or a personal loan, but the interest rate is way lower. Actually, it's typically closer to the same interest rate as your mortgage loan. You can make payments on it until it's paid off, or you can refinance and wrap that into a brand new mortgage. In fact, after you do the updates, the odds are it's going to substantially raise the value of your house, and you'll be able to refinance sooner than later, packaging the renovation cost into a new mortgage. There is such a thing as a renovation loan, where basically you're packaging the cost of the renovation and the purchase price of the house together into one mortgage. The biggest hurdle typically with this situation though is that you have to have a bid from a general contractor in order to pull this off. The bank won't accept anything less. They take the cost of the repairs and the price of the house added up to establish a purchase price. Then the home gets appraised in its after repair state. If the appraisal value of the home isn't equal to or greater than the price of the home plus the amount of the repairs, you may have to come out of pocket with extra cash just to make the purchase work. It could still be a convenient option if you have a little extra cash to play with, but it's definitely going to take some risk and some time in order to figure out if this is even a possibility. Some people just don't have that much cash to lose if it doesn't end up working out. Or you may not be working with a seller that's willing to give you enough time to see if this could work. There's a lot of variables to make this happen, so you really want to make sure it's even possible before you go down this route. Unfortunately, in the last few years, both supplies and labor costs have dramatically increased. So just doing a rough estimate of repair costs is not the wisest choice here. If you're a DIYer like me, then you want to investigate all of your material costs. Allocate part of your budget for tools that are needed and plan for overage that may be needed for additional materials. It's not a bad idea, regardless, to get some quotes from local vendors to know exactly how much it costs to have a professional take care of this. If you already know a local vendor or can form a relationship with them before you start looking at homes, see if they can attend a showing with you and then write you a quote for the cost of the renovations. Worst case, if you plan your budget for the expense of paying someone professional to do it, you can always try to save some money afterwards by taking on some of the work yourself or shopping for other vendors. I could talk about this stuff all day long because I love helping buyers find great equity building opportunities in a fixer-upper home. There's so much money to be made in investing in an undervalued asset and building the equity into it. Many of my clients have done exactly that, and they've been able to make a massive amount of money off of their investment. But for this first step, we'll draw it to a close. The next step in our series, we're going to talk about how to spot a good fixer-upper. There's a ton I can't wait to consult you on here so you can make the wisest decision for your money. Please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to keep reaching more and more folks with this great real estate educational content. Have a great week, folks. We'll see you in the next video.